Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, the housekeeping notes, all the product I'm using and all the dimensions are listed below. There's a link to my online store if you wish to purchase any of these products and help support my channel. There's a link to our Facebook group. We love to have you join that. There is my email address if you have any questions or want to find out about in-person classes. And finally, remember to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Today we're going to be playing with Impressions Abloom. Again, I know I've played with different ways, and we're going to do a different way this time. We're not going to use any DSP. And the colors we're using, some people might think they're odd together. We have Azure Afternoon, Gorgeous Grape, and Berry Burst. This color combination was inspired by a piece of clothing I received for my birthday. And I sat there looking at it one day when I was wearing it, and I thought, you know, that would make a really pretty card collar combination. I get inspired by all kinds of things. Pictures on walls, buildings, all kinds of things, you know, lead me to color combinations or different things. So that's what we're using. And this one. So what we're making is this. Not just the envelope. We're making this. It's a beautiful layered card. And you can see that this carries through the second panel. And I don't think you can see it, but there, I got a little glare. You can see the Wink of Stella on the top layers here. And it says, thanks so very much. And then there's Wink of Stella all over that inside flower, which I'm not sure you could actually see. So this is what we're making. So one thing we do need for this is we are going to need, these are the Textured Notes dies. That's what I use. But you can use any dies, or you could just cut paper. You could just cut cardstock into rectangles and use it too. Gutting the inside's a little hard, but we'll go over that in a minute. So what you need is, of course, we need an envelope. I need some scrap paper to do my thanks on, more than I need. You're going to need a card base. Mine's Gorgeous Grape, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4 and burnished. Set that off to the side for now. You're going to need a piece of Azure Afternoon, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4, so it's a quarter sheet. You're going to need a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4 for the insides. And then you're going to need another piece of basic white that's 3.5 by 5. Now, I'm going to take the insides away. Well, set them over here for a moment. These two pieces are the ones we're going to be using to make these 4 layers. You're saying, how? So we're going to take, from the outside of this one, I'm going to take number 1. Number 2 is going to go on the white. Number 3 is going on this one, and number 4 is going on this one. The center I already have out because we're going to use that for the label. There is one more long, skinny one. I do have that out. It's in a box for a class I'm going to be teaching. So I don't have that one out. So we're using all but 3 of the label dies. So we're going to set this one aside for now because we're going to do stamping first. We'll just set these off out of my way. So we need to stamp the inside, we need to stamp the front and the envelope. Let's get stamping. Let's do the inside of the card first, because it's pretty easy. We're going to use Azure Afternoon, and I think we'll go ahead and do the envelope at the same time. And we are using the large 2-step stamp here. And I like to do the outsides first. And I'm just going to pop that down here in the corner. That's full strength. And we'll do the envelope at the same time. And that one's full strength. Then we're going to grab this. And I know I need to change, I know it's a mess, but we're going to be doing a lot of stamping off today, and so I didn't want to change it. I will get it changed soon. I don't know when. We're going to stamp off once, and line that up. This one has that little one that sticks out a little further, so it's easier to see. Stamp that one. And that one. So that's that for the moment. I'm going to close this up just for a second. Then we're going to grab Gorgeous Grape. Our leaves are going to be Gorgeous Grape. Now this one, I just grabbed the texture. I'm not doing the inside on the leaves. I'm just doing that one. And then you just come in here and tuck in a couple leaves. I'm going to turn this one around. Just like that. Oh, I'm going to put one more right here. Just tuck in some leaves where you'd like them. Oh, I haven't done the centers yet. I know, we'll come back. And the same with this. I'm just going to tuck in. Oh, we'll put one more. You can do as many as you want. Just like that. I did forget the centers. The centers on my flowers are still Azure Afternoon, but I'm not using both. Hi. We get this wiped off before we end up with purple everywhere. I am not using the inside piece. I'm just using the final layer on this. So it's a little lighter. Just like that. And well, we've got these over here. We're done with the envelope, so we'll set that off to the side. We will grab Berry Burst. And our words are going to be in Berry Burst. So very much is going here, and I'm not even putting it straight. I'm just putting it right like that. So that's the inside of our card. And thanks, we'll put on here. And we will die cut that shortly. Nice scripty thanks. So that's to be die cut. I'll put the die with it so I don't forget. Okay, now for our front layer. There's no particular way to lay this out. I'm going to start with my largest flower with the outline. Now the first go around, we're not putting insides, only the outline. And I'm doing it sort of random. About like that. I'll end up doing that way. I'm starting over because I know what my focal point needs to be is more in the center. So I should have started there. It was me. Start with your two main focal points in the center and then add. I don't know what I was thinking. It's about 8:15 in the morning on Saturday. So put your two focal points in the center first. And then stamp a few around, but leave space. Then we're going to come in with this one. Yeah, I'm trying to get done before the hot weather comes back. And we'll just put a few of these in now. This is the small one. And there could be two here. That looks pretty good. And we'll come in with some Gorgeous Grape and add some leaves. Right after I clean off my block. I got a little carried away with the block the other day, just a few minutes ago. The other day. Seemed like the other day? No, just a few minutes ago. Oh, not so hard on the Gorgeous Grape. It's very juicy. And I don't care if they come to the flowers. I'm just filling in a little bit here. Just adding the leaves. because once we start cutting this, it will look different. We need a couple off to the side here. I think we'll stick the skinny part there. That looks pretty good. It's whatever you decide looks pretty good. That's about the size of it. You decide what you want. So I'm going to close these for a few minutes because we're going to get out Auto here, my cut and emboss machine, so we can die cut him. You can tell I just inked my grape up. It's very juicy and I keep on making a mess out of it all over me. But that's okay. That's part of the fun of stamping. So, just moving a few things out of my way. And you notice we didn't do the centers of that flower either. We're not doing them on this part. But we're coming back into stamping in just a minute. So let's grab our Azure Afternoon first and our 2 dies. Plate 1 and 2, plate 3, and these 2. Now, when you're putting flat edges through, you want to make sure that you are going at a slight angle. You don't want them going totally flat in there. And my plates are bowed, and I know many people have bowed plates. So we're going to use a little bit of tape here, a little Post-it tape. And it doesn't matter if it's square right in the center or not on this, because it'll be square when you're done. And then try to line that up so it's right in the center, because we're going to gut out the middle of this and use it as a layer. So just like that. Gutting out the inside of a part of the front of the card works really well for saving paper. So, of course, I went right through. I'm having a great day, you know that? Luckily, Post-it tape usually peels off pretty easily. There we go. So that's going to be our beautiful layer that we're going to be using. And this is the outside piece. And a little bit of waste, but not much. And then we'll grab the other 2 dies we set aside. And these were numbers 2 and 4. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to line this one up. Not like that. You are going to lose a little bit of your stamping, but not much. And then the inside piece, you want to get as even as possible. You know what I figured out? I just figured out what's wrong. Why did someone tell me that I don't have my glasses on and I'm driving blind? Oh, whoa. That's better. I'll put that one on there. But like I said, you could do the same thing without dies. You just have to take and cut the inside out with an X-Acto knife. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. And this. So we're keeping these 2 pieces. And the reason I did this before or after I stamped is I wanted to make sure the stamping got right into all that beautiful design. So I'm big in believing in putting things away as soon as you're done with them, especially dies. You guys ever tried to find a missing die? Especially little ones. These are not going to get lost too easily. But little dies, oh my gosh. Not fun. So let's get our pieces in here. Our inside, our layers. Oh, I forgot to cut this out. Sorry. I told you I was having one of those mornings. You know, one of those days that you just like, what's going on? That's the day I'm having. This is the small one. Now you could just cut the full size out like that, but it's rather large for what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot this over to one side, and I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to show you a little trick you can do with dies. So we'll cut that one out. So I moved it off to one side. And bring it back. What we're going to do is we got that beautiful piece there. And if we just cut it, we won't have our border on this side. And I want the border on this side. So take your die. Hang on. Get it this way. Line up your die. And most dies, including these, if you get them lined up in the right, I need to come over one more space. They almost just hook right into the die. Not quite, but you can see where it's at. This one you have to line up the dashes, which are pretty easy to do. So it's about like that. So I'm going to line it up so it's tucked in where you want it. Definitely, and this time I'm cutting face up. You can cut face up, and when I'm doing these, I find it easier to cut face up. So there's our waist. Get the piece of tape off here. And there is our tiny little label with all of our embellishments on it. Our little dashes and dots. You can do this with almost any die you want. And we'll go ahead and put him back on the sheet. Okay, now we're truly done die cutting. I need some more tea. I'm going to have a drink of my tea for just a moment. I said it's a Saturday morning. I think it's 8:15 in the morning. And if anybody knows me, this is early for me. And we'll get our card base over here, which is our Gorgeous Grape. So let's go ahead and put the inside in. Okay. First, we're going to take this piece and put it on just like this. And it's going on with glue or seal, whichever you prefer. Just a little strip right around there. Get that evened up in your card. Then the next is this one. And we're going to line that up and glue that right down on top of there. All these cards always turn out different depending where you put your focal point and where you stamped. Oop. I started sticking this down. Make sure I've got this going the right way. Yep, I do. So I decided I wanted this one to be at the top. So make sure if you've set this and you know this piece, if you want this to be the top of your piece, that you put this in. So it looks the same. Okay, now I said we weren't done stamping, and we're not. We're going to set this aside for just a minute and bring our mat back in and grab our solid color. And we're going to need Berry Burst, and now we need the inside pieces of those flowers. Not going to be much on the Berry Burst. Just a little bit. And let's see here. I'm going to line these up. This one, they have one that sticks out a little further than the other. And that's how I know which way to go on that one. Stamp that off. Put that there. I'm not going to have a whole lot of Berry Burst on here. I'm trying to figure out how this one's... It is that one. Okay. Stamp off. So just a little Berry Burst. And then I got this little one up here, which is this little piece right there. So not much there on the Berry Burst. There wasn't on my first one either. And then the Azure Afternoon. Come in here and stamp off. And stamp that one. And stamp off. Oop. And stamp that one. Just like that. And we need to put centers in these. So let's do the Azure Afternoon first. Full strength. And we do need the Berry Burst for those two. That takes the smaller one. Okay, now we're done with stamping. Now you can put your Winkastel on now, or you can wait till you mount it. Do you see something that's happened here? When I went down, I must have went down right after the same spot I just did the Azure Afternoon, and it picked up just a little the Berry Burst picked up a little halo on there off the pad. But you know what? I think it looks just fine, and I'm not going to worry about it because it goes with the card. So, like I said, you could do these layers. The Azure Afternoon, what did I say? You put the Winkastel on now, or you can do it later. I find later's fine by me. So I'm going to square this in here, and this one's going to get glued down. Okay, Lori made lots of mistakes in this card, so, oh well. It's life. Okay, now we're going to go up. Make sure you're going still the right direction, which I am. And we're going to go up on Dimensionals with this one. As soon as I get my Dimensionals out of here. Oh, I got lucky today. I have a whole bunch of sides. We can make my life real easy. A side. You can do lots of little ones, or you can do sides. I have sides, so. And over two. Oh, I don't need that big a one. Put those in the center. Hello, Shasta. Shasta's finally decided to walk in here. She's been sleeping. Let's flip that back around so I'm going the right way. And I want to line this up in the center as close as I can. That looks pretty good. And then we'll come in here with our thanks. And I'm gonna, now it's gonna vary wherever you want to put it. And I think I'm going to put my thanks up here this time. Yep, I am. I'm going to put it up here. You can move it anywhere you want. You know, look at where you've stamped and then decide where you want to cover up. I'm going to cover a little bit of that purple up, so it won't make any difference. But I'm going to wait and put that on until I put the Wink of Stella on. When you're pushing on this, don't be over the top of your work. Just because you don't want a big blob in the middle of this, unless you do. And I'm staying on the blue because it will bleed. And I'm going to come in and do the blue on the inside of my card before I go to the berry burst on the outside of the card. Now I'm just going to take my mat. I don't have a piece of scratch paper. I make sure that I don't have any Azure Afternoon on before I hit these guys. And then when you're done, just clean it off and you are done with it. And then we will put this. You can put it wherever you want, but that's where I've decided I want mine this time. Just like that. And then for bling, I just decided not to have a bow on it, but for bling, I'm just using basic rhinestones. Wasn't getting too fancy. I'm going to put one here. I'm not putting them in the same spot as I put the others. I'm going to put one here and a littler one here. So you can always put them in different spots. It doesn't have to be the same. I'll bring the other card in. We don't have to. This is this one, and here's this one. They always look different. You can't make them get exactly, because you don't stamp exactly the same. So, sorry I made so many boo-boos today, but hey, it is what it is. It's crafting. We're meant to have fun. So, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.